Hi, welcome to the lesson on real world age word problems. So here we're going to figure out two sets of word problems that we have here. And let's go over the first one here. So Layla and Dante are 28 and 20 years old respectively. Their mother is 5.5 times their age difference. How old is their mother? So first of all, let's go ahead and write out what we do know. All right, so far we know how old Layla and Dante are. So we're going to represent Layla's name with the letter L, and she's 28, whereas Dante is represented with D, and he's 20. Okay, so mom is 5.5 times their age difference. So we'll put M for mom, and we'll say 5.5 times, and we're talking about multiplication, right? So this keyword times is multiplication. 5.5 times their age difference. And age difference, well, we have this keyword difference, which means to subtract, correct? So we'll place parentheses here. Okay, so let's go ahead and go back over what we need to find out. How old is their mother? Okay, so 5.5 times Layla and Dante's age difference, right? So we know Layla is 28 and Dante is 20, but because we need to find the difference in ages, we are going to subtract. So 28 minus 20, because 20 is Layla's age, whereas Dante's age is 20. Okay, so now let's go ahead and solve, and then we will figure out how old their mother is. So before we do that, what we're going to do is turn this mixed number into an improper fraction, so that way we can work. All right, and notice we have 28 minus 20 in parentheses, so let's go ahead and solve what we have in parentheses first, okay? So we know that 5.5 is the same as 11 halves times, let's go ahead and solve 28 minus 20, which is 8. So now we can go ahead and simplify 11 halves times 8. So we know that 2 goes into 2 once, 2 goes into 8 4 times. And when you multiply across the numerators, 11 times 4 is equal to 44. And don't just say 44 anytime you're working with word problems. When you have a test or a quiz or something like that, answer in complete sentences as far as what the question is asking you. So since their mother is 44 years old, you can say something like Layla and Dante's mother is 44 years old, or their mother is 44 years old. Okay, so let's go ahead and work with the second word problem here. So it states, Julie is 3 times as old as Brian. In 4 years, Julie's age will be 40 years minus Brian's age. What is Julie's age now? So first of all, let's go ahead and label, or let's go ahead and underline what we do know. Okay, so what we do know is that Julie is 3 times as old as Brian. Okay, 3 times as old as Brian. And then another key is in 4 years, Julie's age will be 40 years minus Brian's age. Okay, so we have in 4 years, and we have Julie's age will be 40 years minus Brian's age. Okay, what is Julie's age now? Okay, so here we have what we do need. We have enough information to go ahead and solve this particular problem. So let's first of all label using this chart that we have here, or this table. So let's go ahead and represent Julie's age with a J, and we'll represent let's see, Brian's age with the letter B. Okay, let me just go ahead and write or draw another line here. Okay, so Julie is 3 times as old as Brian. Okay, so what is Julie's age now? Okay, so let's go ahead and write now for their ages now. We need to know both Brian's and Julie's age now. and that looks like an H to be an N. All right, and let's see, we need to know their ages in the future as well. So we'll say in 4 years. Okay, because we have to know that in order to determine their ages now. Okay, so here, since we do not know how old Brian is, we can represent his name with the variable b. Okay, and we know that Julie is 3 times as old as Brian, so we can say 3 times b, right? 3 times as old as Brian, because remember, Brian is represented with the variable b, so 3b. Okay, so then now we have in 4 years, Julie's age will be 40 years minus Brian's age. Okay, so since we're talking about their current ages now, plus an additional 4 years in the future, we're going to add. So we have 3b plus 4, right, for Julie. And that means how old is Brian going to be in 4 years? Okay, so he's b now, but add an additional 4 years to his age, we have b plus 4. Okay, so now we need to find out Julie's age now, but what we need to do is work with the 2 expressions in the second table right here. So what we're going to do is take 3b plus 4, rewrite it here. Let me use a different color. So we have 3b plus 4. Okay, and it says in 4 years, Julie's age will be 40 years. So will be is represented with equal. 40 years minus Brian's age, and Brian's age is b plus 4. Okay, so now what we're going to do is just go ahead and solve by distributing the -1 to each term within parentheses. So you can look at this as being a -1 out here. All right, so we have b and positive 4. All right, so knowing that, let's go ahead and rewrite this here. So we have 3b plus 4 equals, we have 40, -1 times b is simply -b. Negative of a positive is -4. So now let's go ahead up here at the top and rewrite it. So we have 3b plus 4 equals, let's combine like terms. We have 40 and we have -4. So 40 minus 4 is simply 36. Don't forget about the -b minus b. Okay, so now the next thing to do is to subtract 4, or we're going to subtract b from both sides, right? So let's add b to both sides rather, because our ultimate goal is to get b alone. Okay, so now we have -b, positive b, which cancels. And let's go ahead and get rid of positive 4 by subtracting 4 from both sides, because that will get b alone. Okay, so here we have positive 4 minus 4, which cancels. And then we have 3b plus b, which is simply 4b, equals 36 minus 4 is equal to 32. So we are going to get b alone by dividing by 4 on both sides. B's cancel. So this is equal to b equals 8. So here we have Brian's age currently, but the question is asking us how old is, what is Julie's age now? So we know that we have Julie for 3b, right? So we're multiplying here. Let me change this color here. So we have 3b equals 8 times 3. Okay, so 3b equals 24. And remember, 3B is Julie's age, right? 3B matches up with J. So that means Julie is 24 years old. And that makes a lot of sense because if you notice, Brian is 8 years old and it tells us that Julie is 3 times as old as he is, right? So when you multiply 8 times 3, you get the answer of 24. So Julie is currently 24 years old. All right, and remember when you answer that question, what is Julie's age now? Make sure you answer in a full, complete sentence. Okay, so that's all we have in this lesson. I hope it was helpful, and I look forward to working with you in the next lesson. Take care.